Greetings, my excellent friend.
Welcome to Most Excellent Adventure to
Heavy Metal
History.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the Heavy Metal History Podcast, welcome back to part whatever this is of Carnifex Week. And my guest, welcoming back, Scott Lewis. Scott, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man, it's probably been like a year now, I think. Back when right before Death Dreamer was going to be put out, if I'm not mistaken.
You're totally right. Yeah, I think it was right before Comic-Con, so it's right about this time.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is how I keep up with my year now. Is like, what did I do last year on the podcast?
No, I get that. I'm like that with the band and like that, with the other stuff I work on. It's like those are the markers on the calendar.
I know. So let's see. I forget. Did we really talk about? I think we talked about your influences and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure we had to have.
Yeah, I think for the most part we talked about the book a bunch, and then I think we talked a lot about the book. But now now there's new shit to talk about. Now we got the new album.
Yeah. So actually, let's talk about the EP because I brought this up with Fred. And I think just a little bit with Sean, but Sean didn't really talk about it much. But putting out that EP, I think, was such a good idea, man, because, I know we've talked about this a few times. It's really hard to keep people's attention in between album cycles and stuff like that. And I think I'm noticing this trend where bands are putting out EPs in between records, and I think it's such a good idea. And all the stuff that you guys put on that EP, especially with the 2 cover songs, I think was fantastic. Like the art, everything that you guys put into that was such an awesome thing to see.
Thank you. Yeah, that was in large part because we knew real early on that we were going to take the 3 years between the 2 full lengths.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, Bury Me in Blasphemy was written like as part of the new album sessions. It wasn't like we said, okay, let's write this EP and then let's get back to the full length. It was, I think we got back from Europe in August of 18. So we had just finished the Slow Death Cycle. We had started it in summer of 16 and then we ended it in summer of 18. So we did the 2 full years. And then we got back from that. We knew, we had probably 4 or 5 songs already written. No Light was written. World War X was written. Bury Me in Blasphemy obviously was written.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a bunch of other kind of just skeletons. But I think we knew as soon as we got back that we were going to do the album in the summer, and it was going to be the full 3 years. We had thought for a while we were going to try to release it in the spring, but that became apparent to us that we weren't going to be ready to get in the studio that soon. So as soon as we realized that, we said, well, hey, let's take all these covers that we have but don't want to put on the full length because they don't fit with that album, and then let's put out this song that we really love, which was Bury Me in Blasphemy, which was, I think, the second song we had written for the new album sessions. And that's how that one came about,
Yeah, I think not putting cover songs on full lengths makes a lot of sense. Because it does always throw off the vibe of the whole album usually, even if it is like a secret song. I get that aspect of it too, but it always does kind of like stick out a little bit more.
And for us, World War X is very heavily themed, and the whole point with that whole album was to embrace that theme everywhere, with the album, with the music, with the lyrics, with the art, with the pre-orders, with what we wear on stage, all that shit. And so even if we did a cover for that to go with that album, it would have to be something that would fit with that theme. And neither of those existing covers did. And we didn't have plans to do a new one. So it just exactly what you're saying. Like there's no way it would have worked. So yeah, Bury Me in Blasphemy was like this great mix of getting some new stuff out there, getting the covers out there that the fans had wanted to hear, at least for Heretic. And then for us putting a new one out there with Head Like a Hole. And then doing something that we're trying to do more of, which is work with artists outside of our genre. So, working with Ghost.
Yeah, I think I only saw you guys once in that cycle, but yeah, man, when you guys played Heretic Anthem live, it went over insanely well. with everybody in the crowd. And I think there's always like this fine line with cover songs. Like they're either really, really good, you do the song justice, or they're god fucking awful. And it's such a fine line between those three parts.
It is, but it's also in the intention. You know what I mean? It's like, I think if your intention with a cover is, this is what we're going to get popular from, then your cover probably sucks. If your intention is, hey, this is a song that we all grew up listening that really influenced all of us here up on stage, and we want to play it to have fun, to pay homage to them and have a good time with everyone in the crowd.
Yeah.
That was our intention. So I think that has a big part to do with it too, you know?
It's funny, I was getting caught up with that last season of Black Mirror last night, and that the last episode has Miley Cyrus singing Head Like a Hole, and that was atrocious, man. It was like the worst thing I had ever heard.
I heard that it was in the episode, but I haven't. After I heard the Buck Cherry one that came out like the week before ours did.
Oof, I did not hear that.
Did you hear that one?
No.
Oh, dude, it's either Buck Cherry or like a band that's, you know, exactly like that. It came out like a week before ours came out, and it's so bad. I was like, God damn it, you're gonna ruin it for both of us.
Well, I mean, you guys kept like the, you know, more electronic elements and even like amplified them a little bit more, which I think, you know, that's the heart of that song. And neither that, or at least the Miley Cyrus cover, doesn't have any of that. It's just like shitty guitar over everything.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, I'm the Nine Inch Nails. Is if I had to pick a single most influential band, honestly, it would probably be them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, of course, we have to keep the electronic elements. That's the heart of Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
You know?
Wasn't there a time where, like, if I'm not mistaken, you were wearing your Nine Inch Nails shirt after a show and some guy like gave you shit for it? And you're just like,
I'm sure, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sure. You know, that was the funny thing is, like, early on, you know, when we were coming out of the metalcore phase, everything that's like super popular now, all the goth shit, that was so hated on back then.
Yeah.
It was so just laughed at, and just like no one gave a shit. They just made fun of you for it, and that was it.
Which is crazy, because a lot of that stuff, I mean, like you said, it was made fun of back then, but now, man, there's just like this weird resurgence for all that.
Well, you know, honestly, I think that's kind of why the band's doing so good, you know, because all those influences that we always had have always been prominent. And as we've been maturing as musicians, we've been embracing our, you know, kind of our true sound a little more, which probably is a little closer to some of our influences, like Nine Inch Nails, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, let's see. So you guys have been playing for over 15 years, at least.
Well, no, we haven't. The first time we jammed was August of 2005. So we're
really?
actually right at 14 years. Yeah, it'll be 15 in 2020. So
Okay.
14 years. Yeah.
Well, still, my original point that I was trying to get to is, like, I really doubt that, you know, through all this time you guys would still be trying to put out albums like Love Lies and Ashes and sorry, blanking here, man. You know, like your first two records, like putting out stuff that still sounds like that in 2019. I mean,
I don't. Yeah, we couldn't. It wouldn't pass muster. You know what I mean?
No.
It just wouldn't. It wouldn't get out of songwriting phase. You know, that's the thing. It's like it's the same guys writing it. It's you know, we're still the same process too. We didn't even really change our process. We've just become better musicians. You know, so I think it's less about, you know, what was it that inspired this record that was different? And it's like, I don't think it was actually everything about our inspirations and our process. All that shit was the same. Really, it was just, I think we're better musicians than we've ever been. We're better songwriters than we've ever been. And then we took the 3 years. You know, we didn't let ourselves say, well, you know, these songs are pretty good, but shit, time to get to the studio. So I guess that's that. You know, we really said these songs are pretty good, but actually they can still be better. So let's give ourselves another 3 months. And, you know, that's why we pushed the release back to the summer and did the EP and all that.
Yeah, so you like really took time to make sure everything was fleshed out.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Yeah.
100%, dude. There's probably 15 versions of every single song on there.
Damn.
Plus, we had 2 or 3 others that we wrote and rewrote that we just couldn't get where we want them. That are just these, they're just out there.
Skeletons, basically.
Yeah, they're just sort of sitting, kind of like, you'll listen to it and it's like half good and half weird, and you're like, yeah, it's not as good, but. Yeah, so for us, it was really about, like, let's take that time to really articulate what we want to say musically.
So now when you guys are kind of writing, I know you said you keep everything the same, but what do you kind of look for as far as, like, what passes muster, within the group?
Well, I think being to honestly say you enjoy the song yourself, I think is something important to us. So for, our kind of outside of what we did once we got off of the slow death cycle, while we were on the slow death cycle, we had those 4 or 5 songs kicking around, and then the guys are generating riffs all the time. And so what we're doing with those 4 songs while we're on tour is just listening to them over and over and over and over and over again. And I figure if you can get through a whole tour listening to the same 4 songs over and over again and you don't hate them, then they pass. But if after a while you're like, this is one part that's just fucking lame. Like, we got to fix it, like, then hey, the song needs a little bit more work. And that's happened. We would listen to a song that we thought was good. Like Eyes of the Executioner, man. We rewrote that thing like 4 or 5 times. We thought we had it, and then it just wasn't right. But it just takes time,
So did you guys have everything ready to go by the time they went to go record with Suecof?
Everything except for All Roads Lead to Hell.
Okay.
Well, wait, so you haven't heard it then?
I've only heard the 2 new songs.
Oh, well, okay, that bums me out a little bit.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I just wish, because then we could sort of go back and forth a little more.
Yeah. No, see, because I was expecting it, because that's what I thought, but I don't know, like, exactly how it works with all that stuff, because sometimes I'll get records and sometimes I won't. I'm like, well... a
big part of it is that those publicists don't last very long. So, like, to be honest, this is like our 3rd or 4th publicist at NB. Like, they only work there for like 6 months, and then someone else comes along. So usually you have a contact, and then when you get a new person, you lost your contact.
Yeah, I think I got really lucky early on in this podcast where I had made a contact, and she went on to, I forget what she was on, but then she went to Prosthetic Records, and she like took me along with her, and she helps me out like all the fucking time with stuff, and I love working with her.
Oh, so, sweet. Okay.
That was really cool.
Kristen's pretty good. I'm sure she'll hook you up with a bunch of the other press that they're doing too.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Cause I was wondering, if like when you guys are recording, if Suecof had any little like adjustments or suggestions as far as, the instrument side, but I know you recorded your stuff with the dude from Anal Nathrak, so I don't know how much you were there when they were recording.
Yeah, I flew out with Jordan, January, whatever it was, when we started Guitars.
Okay.
So I flew out there and was out there for a week, just to hang with them, and also we had to finish the record. We had 1 song left, and then like a couple of solos to do, and I still had to finish some lyrics too. So yeah, I was out there for a week, and then we wrote All Roads Lead to Hell in Jason's second studio, like drum room studio.
Nice.
And then funny thing, we come back to we probably spent 6 hours on it. Jordan kind of had a riff, and we pretty much just built it off of that. And then we go back to the main studio, and Jason's on with Angel Vivaldi, FaceTiming their buds.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, "Oh, what are you guys working on?" And so we kind of played what we had just written, and Jason was like, "Yeah, that's great. Let's track that." And then Angel was like, "Yeah, let's do a solo on it." So that's how that came together.
Oh shit, that's cool, man. So that's very like serendipitous that he happened to be there and hear it and was like, "Fuck yeah."
It was because we had a second guest planned, but they'd fallen out.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from Alissa, so to get him sort of, like kind of last minute, but while we were in the studio, so to say, it was awesome.
Yeah. So did he like do everything, I guess, in like he has a home studio or something and send it to you, or was he there? Or?
He did it at his studio. Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. He recorded at his place. Alissa did her vocals up in Montreal. I did mine in Huntington Beach.
Yeah. So Sean mentioned that you had quite a job trying to wrangle everything to get Alissa to do the vocals and be in the video. Tell me about that, because he said it was quite a big job for you.
Well, yeah, not just me. I mean, really, it was everybody. It was a co-production, really, between me, Nikhil, Nikhil, and Scott Hansen's company, Digital Thunderdome. So, on his side, he was doing all the physical production. So, the camera, the crew, the lighting, the trailer, the drone. All that stuff, he was bringing all that stuff, and then all the grips and everything. And then on our end, we were getting the band out there. We were getting the props out there, all the equipment out there. We're getting Alissa from Montreal to L.A., and then from L.A., 4 hours inland to Death Valley, essentially, or adjacent, and then back again, and then back to Montreal. While we're doing the shoot, and during the day we got a sandstorm that blew the road out. So the whole road was completely covered in sand, like you're out in the Sahara about to get your car covered and buried in sand.
Yeah.
So the road got completely covered, and we couldn't get any access to where we needed to shoot. And luckily, Jordan has got like a Brodozer 4x4 truck. And he had to, ferry people over the sand up to the shooting location.
So luckily, you guys had everything already set up out there. It's just the road got like fucked in the middle of it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, the storm sort of hit mid-morning, midday, and that's as people were getting there. So the people that got on location the earliest made it. But then as the storm, went through the late morning and midday, it took the road out. So by the time talent arrived, the road was inaccessible.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So that's easily the most strenuous video shoot I'm assuming you guys have had.
Oh, yeah. That was a 26-hour day for me. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, from leaving the house to getting back to the house was 26 hours.
So she was super down to be in the video. Like, did you have that planned out before recording everything? Like, what was the plan with making that the first single?
It was something that we knew early on. We knew early on I think this was the third or fourth song we had written.
Okay.
This song was mostly written by Jordan. It's his one. And then he and I arranged it together. And we knew early on that we wanted a guest, that we wanted a female voice. We wanted screams and operatic, or, at least like harsh and operatic. We wanted the contrast because we wanted the melody, but, I'm not from me. I'm not going to be doing any singing. So,
sure?
And we thought, yeah, pretty sure. And so, for us, we're big fans of female vocalists like Lana Del Rey and Chelsea Wolfe. So we really loved that kind of ethereal operatic voice. And so when we presented the song with her, we had the pre-production, kind of the earlier version of it, and really just, gave her the song, said, this is kind of the theme of the song, and here are the lyrics. Here are some ideas that we have and some things that we thought you could do that would really elevate it, and let me know what you think. And she really responded to the material, to the song, to the lyrics, and then instantly had a great idea off the bat that, the melody at the beginning over Jordan's guitar, that was all her idea. So it was just a real collaborative effort, and really was just, we just got right into it right away. It was pretty awesome.
Damn, that's pretty cool how it just like came together really quick like that.
I mean, it's a great song. Jordan has really become a pretty fantastic guitarist at this point. He's got to be one of the best out there, and it's a really great song. So I think the strength of the song and the theme, and then also it just being a real good fit for her vocally. I think it's obviously that's apparent here in the finished product, but going into it, I could hear it in my head. I knew it was going to be a good match, and she heard it too.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised with the juxtaposition of the two things, and like, Arch Enemy, whatever. I'm not really like a fan of the current stuff, but with what you guys wrote, it's interesting hearing her vocals on something like that because it fucking fits really, really well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought it was awesome. Yeah, I mean, I do really enjoy the newer Arch Enemy records. I really love the other one, all the ones with Angela as well. Of course, they're different, but I really appreciate them both. I really like Jeff Loomis, his edition. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And then just the guitar playing in general, regardless of who their vocalist is, just across the discography, their guitar playing has always been amazing. So I thought it was cool to hear that contrast and to get that, that vocal melody on a Carnifex record in a way that's still very true to our sound,
Yeah, I think just kind of seeing people's reaction to it online, a lot of people don't really know what to do with it. Like, obviously some people are reacting really, really well because the views you guys have gotten on that thing is insane, but some people are like, wait, what? Like, they're not used to hearing that much melody in a song from you guys, which is stupid because like you guys have definitely had melody in a lot of your songs, but I don't know, for whatever reason this one is kind of like throwing people for a loop,
which I think is more representative of honestly kind of how stagnant the genre is. It's
I
like
agree.
I wish I could look to our left and right and say, we have other bands in the genre that are like really driving us to succeed, but I unfortunately can't say that. So I kind of feel like we just struck out on our own, and I don't mean that in any negative way. I just mean it in like,
sure,
as far as bands that are really trying to express a real creative vision across the board with a live show in their presentation of their music videos, their promotional material, the way the album sounds, just everything. It's I don't see a whole lot of bands doing it, which whatever, they have no obligation to do anything, but it would be cool to sort of, kind of have, a tribe to strike out with, you know what I mean?
Yes. I definitely agree with that, but I also agree with the fact that, it is really interesting to me to see that there aren't a lot of bands trying to kind of get out of that box. They're kind of okay with staying the same or, doing what they've been doing for however long.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, and I don't want to speak to that. Like, I'm not here to look at anyone else's band and tell them what to do. I'm trying to figure out what to do with mine. But yes, sometimes it almost it makes yourself double question yourself, because it's like, well, we're going to spend, the No Light video was $24,000 video. It's like, I don't think anyone's even spending $24,000 on their album, let alone a video.
Yeah. So
are we dumb, or are we like going for it? And you look around and you're like, no one else is doing shit. Is this? Are we idiots? Or what do they know that we don't?
Well, I mean,
but we're pursuing our vision. So I think at some point you look around and you go, it doesn't matter. We're headed where we're headed with blinders on.
I think it's cool though too, because as long as I've known you guys, like, you guys have always really tried hard, even in like the dark years.
Oh God, I know, and you were there for him.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I still saw that drive and like determination to do it, and I think once you guys got on Nuclear Blast, it changed everything for you guys, and now you're able to like really personify like this vision that you've had in your head or your collective heads, for however long it is that you've been doing the band, and now it's finally like you're really, really getting there with it, and every record you've done something different, and I know it sounds like I'm just waxing your car right now, but you know what I mean. It's just like it's cool to see you guys work as hard as you have, almost give up, persevere over it, and now you're at that point where it's like, dude, this is finally what we've been working for all these years.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to a number of things. I think it's a testament to mine and Sean's determination. I think it's a testament to our integrity from the beginning, which is we're metalheads and we love playing metal. And I think it's a testament to the value of a good partnership. When we got with NB, that was a good partnership. Yeah. They got the band. The guy that signed us cares about us. He wants to see us grow. That wasn't the case. It couldn't have been further from the case, And so that's right there. Just that change was so fundamental to our trajectory. We were working with someone who, for the first time, was working with us as a partner. Where previously, for 7 years, we were with a partner that was actively detrimental to us from the moment we signed the contract.
Yeah, and it's a wonder that I think most bands would not have survived going through all that stuff that you guys went through. That's for damn sure. So, and I guess to an extent, you guys almost didn't, because I know after 2012 there was like that little hiatus there, but you did. And
yeah, it was a big question mark, man.
Yeah,
I didn't know if we were, if that we had to do another record under that contract, there wouldn't have been another record. That was where we were at. Where we were at was we are so bound and restricted by this deal that it is such a absolute dilution of our artistic vision. It's not even worth pursuing. Mm-hmm. And when we broke free from that and signed with a partner that actually was interested in our success and growth, dude, it was like the snap of the fingers. Everything changed.
Yeah, and it really, I think once you guys added like the whole stage dynamics, I mean that, even when touring with you guys, I always heard like, oh man, Carnifex always puts on a good show, but now it's like a whole nother ball game with like the stage presence and stuff. People are just like, holy fucking shit, like I've not seen a show that good in a long time. So I think that whole added I guess layer of everything, being able to have that stage show now too is fucking awesome as well.
And that's all part of it. You know what I mean? That's our, that's by design. We want people to, when they come see the band, it to be a theatrical experience. We want the experience to be representative of what we're emoting on stage.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, you're looking at 5 guys having band practice wearing basketball shorts and a tank top. And that just doesn't excite me. As someone who's been going to metal shows for 20 years, I've seen it.
Yeah.
What else? I don't want to see band practice. I want to see a show. I don't see anyone in our scene doing it. So we're doing it.
Oh yeah, no, you guys for sure are like the only ones I can think of, short of like, King Diamond or Iron Maiden, that has like a full on theatrical.
Right. Which we're going for, dude.
Yeah.
We're trying for that. We are really trying for that.
Lost art, man. That was so big in the 80s, was like the stage show that, obviously like production values went through the roof with a lot of those things, but
I get that it's representative of the time. Labels don't want to shell out tour support, and bands are so destitute. The few dollars that they do have as a surplus, what? Spend it on production? Are you crazy? We got to eat.
Yeah.
I get all that, which sucks, but that's more a symptom of managers and agents, rather than bands, to be honest. So for us, it's just about going for it, and really, I think too, man. Early on, when we did come out with that Without Hope, those early shows where we did bring the stage show, we didn't have the money for it. Mm-hmm. That was an investment. We did those tours at essentially break even because that profit had to go back in to pay for the light package, the extra crew member. So we ate shit on those early tours too, where we turned it up. That's just what bands got to do. And I I don't know if they're willing to commit, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, you're essentially investing in yourself for a future time. I mean, you know, if you want to keep making music, I think it's important to do that.
It is, but you know, I gotta say, 14 years through this meat grinder of an industry, it's a very short-sighted industry.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, unless you have someone that really is looking out for you by your side, be it as a manager or an agent, the majority of the advice that is going to be given to you is very short-sighted advice. So it's unfortunate that that's sort of this ecosystem that's developed where, you know, a band doesn't almost get a chance to reinvest in themselves for 2.0 because they've been sucked dry before they even got there.
Yeah. And that's the hard thing too, because like there are so many bands out there that are, you know, really good or could be even better if they just had like a little bit more of that like push behind them. And you know, it's I don't know, it's one of those things that I try to look at sometimes where I like look at a tour package and I know of the bands on the tour package and I'm like, well man, this band would probably be bigger if X, X, and X, you know, could happen for them. But it's like, you know, they're the opener on the tour package and they're easily the best band on the tour in some respects, hypothetically anyways. But it's, I don't know, it's so hard. I mean, just it's flooded in a sense too. Things have been flooded so bad since technology has just gotten so rampant.
Yeah, but I think it's more symptomatic of the business practice. You know, the business practice since MySpace has been throw it against the wall and see what sticks. Mm-hmm. But that, you know, that doesn't really work, man. Throw it against the wall and see what sticks doesn't give Pink Floyd $1.5 million to make Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? Throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. It doesn't give Korn a chance to go make Blind.
Yeah.
You know, or the self-titled record, right? And do have Blind. Because what did that record cost? Like $1 million or something crazy? So the business, the business practice is sign 10 bands for $10 and just see who can you crawl out of the hole.
Yeah.
No, because you know the reality is most of those bands aren't that good, and a lot of people in those bands probably don't really care that much. Really, what you need to do is you need to go find a band that has that vision and develop them. Go back to those A&R days where they have people going out and looking for bands rather than just sitting on YouTube and seeing who can get 20,000 plays on Worldwide Slam. You know?
Oh yeah.
And I'm not kidding. That's the model, dude. You're laughing, but that's the model. That's the effort that people are putting in. So these hardworking bands that have talented people that have a vision that they want to pursue, no, nobody's investing in them. It's throw it against the wall and see what sticks. And that's why we're where we're at with all these bands struggling and no new headliners coming up.
Yeah. And you know what's funny, though? This just came to mind for me. I do know another band now that does have like really, really awesome kind of stage theatrics. There's this band called Imperial Triumphant. Man, that band rules. You know,
where are they from?
New York City.
All right. Well, it sounds like black metal.
yeah. No, they are. They're like weird. So like their early albums were like really pretty straightforward black metal, but their past two records have been like this weird, like Death Spell Omega jazz infused, like just off the wall black metal. And they wear like these gold masks that look very like Metropolis theme, like the old movie.
Interesting.
Yeah, they got some pretty good stage presence stuff, and I was like, man, why did I not think of that sooner? But again, that's the thing, is like you don't see it very often, so you don't immediately like think of what band is like doing a stage thing.
Yeah, for me, I think the band that I'm really impressed with right now is Three Teeth.
I've not heard of them.
Definitely worth checking out.
Okay. Is it just like the word 3 or the number 3?
It's the number 3 and then the word teeth.
Okay, cool. I'll keep that in mind then for after we're done recording, go check it out. So, getting back to the new record real quick, off on a tangent a little bit, I guess. So, you recorded your vocals separately because it was closer to you and just like it was a good spot to record, correct?
No, Not, I mean, yeah, those things were true, but that wasn't my main motivation. My main motivation was I didn't want to put a time limit on Jordan and Jason.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up spending 44 days on guitars.
Wow.
And I didn't want to give a time limit on myself. So by tracking with Mick, the whole album was already tracked, except for that one song, All Roads Lead to Hell.
Okay.
The whole album was already tracked, and I had most of my lyrics already done. So when I came back from Jason's, obviously I had worked on All Roads Lead to Hell. I think I had finished it, or it was nearly finished by then. And then they sent that track to us, so we had it. So I now had the whole record. Now, even though I was tracking to pre-pro guitars and stuff, it doesn't matter because we're all working off the same grid.
Yeah.
So because we're all working off the same grid, I was able to track my vocals simultaneously as they were doing guitars, because we knew we're on the same grid, that it was all going to match up in the end.
Damn.
So what that enabled me to do was I spent 4 weeks tracking vocals, which I would have not have been able to do had I gone to Florida, because then I would have meant we would have spent like 10 weeks on the record, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it also, there was no pressure. There was no pressure on Jason. There's no pressure on me and Mick. We just got to work at our own paces. It was fantastic.
Is this the first time you guys have really been able to kind of do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
and
good.
I'll tell you why. Again, this comes back to labels believing in a band. We re-signed our deal with Nuclear Blast.
Awesome.
Before this record. And they gave us a bunch more money. And this is what you're able to do with it. You're able to take the time to make really good records, which is not many labels don't give their bands that chance.
Yeah, it's rush, kind of like
this. I can tell you this record would not be the same if we were on our old budget, which
Mm-hmm.
would have meant that we would have had to do everything in 4 weeks in Florida. This wouldn't be the same album, I promise you.
Now
Not even half the same album.
Is it because of like the technical aspect, or just like the real like refinement of everything?
Everything, dude. Jason mixed the hell out of this thing. Not only that, it's a super hard album to track. So George's a nutcase, so he's recording in drop F, which is extremely low tuning. It's like as low or lower than the Acacia strain, right?
Oh my god!
But the record doesn't sound like that at all.
No,
because
it doesn't.
He plays the entire fretboard, which everyone goes, "Oh, cool." But as an engineer, for Jason, that's a nightmare, because now you have a range that's so extreme, a spectrum that's so spread wide. When he's trying to capture all that, like from an audio sense, it's a big challenge.
Yeah.
So that's in part why they spent 44 days on guitar. Jordan tracked this thing on a prototype, extended scale 8-string, not a fan fret, a multi-scale prototype from Ibanez. Like
what?
It's just called the M80M, and it's this crazy thing. They only made it as a prototype. It's not in production. His top string is like a 90. It's ridiculous.
So it's basically a bass string on the top.
Right, but that's what they had to do in order to get it to all work. For Jordan to nail that solo in No Light Shall Save Us, where he's all the way up on that 27th fret, but then, still hit low F and have all that stuff work and be in tune and all sync up. Like, they spent a lot of time on those guitars, getting that sound, getting that intonation, that tuning, the string set, all that stuff. And they needed it. And that record wouldn't hit the way it does if they hadn't taken that time. My vocals, I wouldn't have the vocal performance I have or the patterns refined the way they are if I didn't have that time. So I can tell you 100% that record would not have been the same if we had not signed a new deal and had the financial opportunity to really pursue our vision.
And that's
what I'm talking about, man. If labels got behind their bands, they could do that.
Yeah. Especially in metal, because, we're such a niche genre in the first place, that like really pushing those bands forward that deserve it, I think would go a long way in sustainability.
Totally And Jason's doing stuff that other engineers aren't doing. Like, nobody's tracking this record.
Oh dude,
Nobody
Suecof is a
record.
madman.
He's a psycho. He's out there, and he doesn't get any credit. It's crazy. He's totally under the radar for what he's doing.
Well, see, like I knew he records stuff, but I also know him from like Capharnaum and his joke band. I fucking blanking on the name of it.
Oh, Crotch Duster.
Yeah, Crotch Duster. Yeah, and like that's what I know him from mainly as like a musician. But I knew he was recording stuff, obviously. But man, just he's like kind of like in that Adam D kind of recording thing where like if you hear something he works on, it's like Suecof did that, where like for me, if I hear an Adam D thing, it's like, oh well, Adam D worked on that. At least for me. I don't know about most people that like really dissect music like that, but I notice it.
I'm right there with you. You can hear certain producers. You can hear Frederick von Nordstrom. You can hear like you can hear certain guys. You can hear a Kevin Shirko album, It's like you can hear them. And I think, Jason is not only developing his own sound, but for what he did on this record, not only in mixing, but in what he was able to capture, like as an engineer tracking. And then as a guitarist, man, he has 2 solos on this album.
Oh, shit.
They're nuts.
Damn.
Those guys went crazy, dude. We have the best guitar solos Carnifex has ever had are on this album.
Man, that's exciting, because I love me a damn Suecof solo.
Dude, there's a song where it goes Jason Jordan, and it's like a minute long, and it sounds awesome. It sounds so good, dude, and it works. It's not a jack fest. It works with the song. You'll love it.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously an important thing too, is like serving the song and not just like playing something that's like, oh hey, cool, look at this, or listen to this. Yeah,
it goes back to that integrity.
Yeah,
and that intention. It's we're not trying to write a song for metalheads. We're just dudes that love metal writing metal songs. You know what I mean?
And I did want to say this too, man. Like the low that you hit in the World War X track, I've not heard you hit a low that hard in a long time, and I was just like, what the fuck?
That's Mick. Do it, dude. Put it on the record. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. I was like, go that low?
That was nasty.
Right. No, we do it a couple times actually. He was the one that was always pushing me to get gnarlier.
I like
it. It worked though, because I was really pushing for the enunciation, which I think we also captured.
Yeah, no, you did. That's another thing, especially about your vocal style. You're very clear in what you say. Like you can make out pretty much everything that you're saying, which I think a lot of vocalists, hit or miss with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, certainly in the live department.
Oh yeah. Yeah, live is...
I've been like some bands like I know, and it's just like, those aren't the words, bro. You're not saying what's there.
Yeah, I saw a fucking video not too long ago of Vince Neil trying to sing Kickstart My Heart. He wasn't even saying the right words, like at all.
I saw that one. Yeah.
And you would think he's been singing it for nearly 30 years. Like, oh man.
Hey, well, no, hang on. I'll attest that just because you've been doing a song for a long time doesn't mean you can't forget the words temporarily.
Okay. That's fair. I'll give him
I'm
that.
I'm not letting Vince Neil go, but I will say there has been a time. There was this weird time. I don't know what it was, but for some reason I couldn't remember this one line in Slit Wrist Savior. I had to look it up. I just could not remember it.
Damn.
I know. I was like, I'm drawing a blank. I know the pattern, but I can't remember the words. And then the second I see the first word, I'm like, oh, duh, idiot.
Well,
so it happens.
You have to, okay, so I'll rescind that, because I know that you have to memorize absolutely so much stuff. Much
not
less...
just the songs, but everything in between, too.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess, even being in a band for 30 plus years, you're gonna forget a track or two.
Well, yeah, it's not like forget, it's just can't get your hand on at the moment.
You know what? There was one band, I forget who it was, but we were on tour with them, and they forgot how to play one of their guitar parts, and they kept playing the wrong part for the wrong song for like a week straight, and then they were finally like, oh, we've been playing that wrong the whole time. And I was like, shit, it took you guys a week to notice?
God.
It's fucking...
Yeah. I
was
think
funny.
that happened in Carnifex once. Two different people. Wait, how are you playing it? I'm playing it like this. I'm playing it like this.
I
Well,
think I was there.
We've been playing it different for 2 years.
Man, the little things about being in a band that nobody really understands. Oh,
Playing
Jesus.
your own songs wrong for 2 years.
Yeah.
True story.
So yeah. So one thing I did want to ask about and get to, and you mentioned it, I think before we started talking, or maybe early on, but the theme of the record, is this like a full concept record, or is it just kind of like a vague theme of what, World War X kind of stands for?
I would put it in the middle.
Okay.
It's definitely not vague, but it's not a concept record.
Okay.
To me, a concept record is, I guess, like much more structured and lineal and very beginning, middle, end.
Yep.
This has a very constant, heavy theme, but the songs aren't in a particular order, and I wouldn't say that, there's no conclusion at the end of the album.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which to me, that would be a concept album. It sort of takes you through a beginning, middle, end, and you into somewhere that's different from where you started. But
Yeah.
this album is not that. It's a collection of songs that all share the same theme.
Okay.
And the theme is World War X, and the X sort of being how math uses it as it's an unknown. And that unknown is it's your war. It's your individual war. And what you're on the front line of, what you're facing head on in the trenches, are all the things that you push down all the years. So your fears, your rage, your insecurity, your anxiety, there's no more pushing it down. Now it's coming at you with 100 miles an hour with 250 cals strapped to the hood, and you have to face it. And that's what the whole album's about. The whole album is about being a soldier and going into that battle of fighting for your own humanity.
Damn. So very kind of a somewhat positive, note in there of like...
It is a little different.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, because I know one thing I always have done with you guys is like read your lyrics and stuff, because you have a very unique voice, I would say, personally. So it was always cool to like read what your songs were about. And I also think that's another thing that's like a lost art, because I know for me growing up, I'd love to get a CD booklet and just rage through the lyrics and read everything, whether it was about zombies or whatever, like I had to read the lyrics, and it gave me a better understanding of the song.
Oh, and it made you fall in love with the song. I mean, when I got records early on, those early Cradle records, man, when I got A Dusk in Her Embrace, I poured over that CD booklet.
Mm-hmm.
Poured over it, man. I would read along while the record played. Every single song. I lay on, this is all pre-social media.
Sure.
I would just lay on my bed and just read the book right along with the CD, And I think that connection to lyrics, and to me as a performer, especially as someone that's coming out of theater, where motivation and intention are the complete center of manifesting a character. When I go on stage, like, I have to say something that means something, at least to me. It can't, maybe it means nothing to everybody else, but it has to mean something to me. And so, yeah, the lyrics have always been super important to me.
So has it been harder or maybe different, kind of growing up as a writer and a musician, playing some of those older songs and being like, I don't know if I really relate to this anymore?
Maybe not, but not because I didn't have that thought. I think I had that and processed it and sort of kept going, because I think I came to that crossroad a little earlier on already. And, for me, it's about telling myself, remember the lyric, which is not so much like we were saying, don't forget the words, but remember what the song was about. And the weird thing is, I can still remember writing the lyrics to Love Lies in Ashes and Blood on My Face. Like, literally, I remember where I was sitting with a pen in my hand. I remember the lyrics I wrote to Light on My Face were with a red pen on, college rule paper. Like, I still remember all that stuff pretty clearly. So I can take myself back there and say, yeah, I don't feel like this now. This is a this purge of emotion from someone that I was 16 years ago, because those lyrics actually weren't really even new to Carnifex. I had had those lyrics just sort of written down prior to Carnifex existing. And, it was just this purge, but I can take myself back to that moment and recognize the authenticity of that moment. There was nothing fake about that emotion when I wrote it.
Of course.
So I can put myself in that seat and go, I remember this purge. I remember this catharsis, and I can relive it. And I think that's why people connect with the show, is I'm reliving it while they're watching it. And that's very important.
So is there anything you guys are doing specifically for Summer Slaughter pertaining to the new record as far as like stage show stuff?
We're bringing as much shit as we can, like literally it's like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. We rented this crazy light package. It's more fixtures than we've ever done by almost twice. We're going nuts with this biggest massive backdrop we've ever printed.
Damn.
Doing all the big hazers and the foggers and all that stuff. We're just going for it, and we're going for it on stage. Like us personally, we have all new gear.
Yeah.
Todd Junker did all new gear for us.
Yeah, I just saw that picture you guys posted with Jordan's new guitar. Damn.
Oh, dude, what do you think about that weapon?
That thing is fucking nasty. Oh,
dude, he's developing a real arsenal. I'll tell you what, because he got to keep that M80M, and he got another prototype from them. So he's got 2 prototypes from them, and now he's got this new. Do you know the story on that guitar?
No, I don't.
That was supposed to be dude from Necrophagus' custom.
Oh.
But then they had a falling out. And so now that design, that style, they're relaunching it.
Damn.
Like nothing to do with Necrophagus, just as part of a new Ibanez line. So yeah, I'm stoked to see what they do, because I think that thing looks wicked.
Yeah, no, and it fits like with the whole aesthetic that you guys have been cultivating for the past few years too. Like it's perfect.
Oh yeah, and we're going nuts with how we're interacting with the crowd. We, like I said, you got to remember the stuff in between. Like it's a show for us, and that show starts when we walk out. It's not just when the songs are going. Yeah,
and I think too, like. The one thing I guess is just from my perspective, the one thing that's always been hard for me with like concerts or even going to shows is kind of like the in between stuff, because it's like, okay, I want to hear the songs, but also like, what are they gonna do to keep my attention for like the 2 minutes that they have to do like a changeover, string breaking or whatever, like that. Yeah, that also like kind of sucks me in, because like what if I get bored and just want to go to the bathroom or whatever. I don't know what I do at shows anymore.
Well, or the thing to me is like, I don't know, the vocalist that's too cool, the in between. It's like, I get it's all one big joke to you, but there's people that just spent $20-$30 to come see a performance, and so making light of the whole thing is probably not what they want. Like, we can all get that it's a little silly that, metals, it can be a little tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But, put on a show maybe. Like, let's suspend our disbelief a little bit and kind of like go on a ride and have some fun,
Yeah, I agree. Especially, because I think you're absolutely right with that sentiment that people are paying their money to kind of just like escape all their bullshit for, a few hours, and they want to see something that's worth their money.
Yeah, man. That's where I'm at as someone that's been going to concerts for a long time. It's just like, I want entertainment,
Yeah, I have not been to very many shows, really. I think I told you I flew out last year to see Dillinger Escape Plan's final shows, and then I think me and Weatherford went to like one show since I moved back, and that's pretty much been it.
Yeah, I haven't. Let's see, what was the last show I went to? Oh, shit, I saw Misfits.
Oh, nice. The original one, I assume, yeah?
Yeah, I just went to their LA show.
Hell yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, I gotta say, dude, it was actually great. Like, they have Dave Lombardo playing drums for them.
Oh, shit.
And, dude, they rocked. They played so tight.
I believe it, man. That's one thing, Danzig kind of gets a bad rap, but he's a good musician, a good performer. I mean,
Oh, dude, he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
It was so good. Every single one of them, all of them, they just nailed it. They all played great.
It's funny too because like I don't mind either era of the Misfits. Like I like the Michael Graves stuff and I like the Danzig stuff. I'm kind of I'm just like I'm like cool with the Misfits no matter what. But man, it would be awesome to get to see that original lineup.
Yeah, I think they're doing a Chicago show or something. I know they got a Vegas show coming up.
Damn.
Get out to Vegas, go see them.
Yeah, I need to take a trip somewhere. That's for sure. Let's see. I don't know. I think that's pretty much everything I was kind of curious about with the record.
Yeah.
At least from your perspective, anyways. I still got to talk. I'm doing Corey tomorrow, and then I still got to get Jordan, and then I have to talk to all of you guys.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much all the new album stuff. Cool. What Summer Slaughter show are you coming out to?
I'm hoping I can make it to the Atlanta show, but so far everybody that I've asked to go has bailed on me, so I don't have a confirmed ride as I don't drive still.
Oh shit! How old are you?
32.
Are you trying to? At what point do you go? All right, I'm gonna go my whole life without driving.
I think I'm already past that point, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so you've embraced it now.
Yeah, no, it's it's a lifestyle, not a choice.
Think of all the good you're doing and how much money you're saving.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah, that's honestly the main reason I don't have the fucking money to buy a car and pay out for all that shit. So, anyways, August 2nd, the record comes out.
Yes, sir. August 2nd, and we'll be playing 3 new songs on the tour. So we'll be playing the 2 that we released, and then Visions of the End, nice. Which we shoot a video for that August 17th. So as soon as we get back.
Damn. So you're doing 3 music videos?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Damn, that's cool, man. I think that's the most you guys have ever had.
We're gonna try to do 4.
Oh.
Because we're trying to do one with Angel for All Roads Lead to Hell.
Damn, that'd be fucking sick.
Yeah, that's the goal. So if Summer Slaughter is a smash and we have a few extra bucks, we're gonna do exactly what I was saying. Put it back into the band, and we'll shoot another video with Angel.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was talking to Sean too, and one of your videos from like last record cycle has like fucking 20 million views or something crazy like that.
Which one?
Let's see.
Oh, Die Without Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one took off. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice if it translated over to record sales?
Yeah, but it doesn't. Now it translates to ticket sales.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
which I guess that matters more a little bit.
It's tough, man. Believe me, I've been like trying to. I don't know which metric we're supposed to be chasing: streams or first weeks or ticket sale. I don't know. We're just trying for all of them.
Well, Scott, thank you for taking the time to do this, man. It was fun talking to you again.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thanks for having me on. And we'll do another one when we do the second issue of Death Dreamer coming out in March.
Yes. Yeah, let's do that. How's that coming along real quick? It's
actually coming along so much better than the first one. Because I learned so much from doing it. That first one, it's totally independent. It's just me, Nikhil, and Christian Davari, my illustrator, like just putting it together. And so we learned a lot, and that first one was a huge undertaking. That was like a 60-page script that we adapted into 56, full-page panels.
Jeez.
So it was a ton of work, and it was our first time doing it. Obviously we got it done, but I feel going into this second one, like really amped, because now it's like the story's set up, the fans are ready. Mm-hmm. Me and Christian like have the story like approach to try and, let's get it from the page to the panels, like in this, I just think in a much more elevated way. Like we're just better at it now. Kind of like the records,
Yeah.
and I'm really stoked with where the story goes. You know, it gets like, I think people think it started gnarly, but it's going to get way worse. So.
Well, that's good. That's how it should be. It's very like 7-ish. It needs to get gnarly. I think. Yeah, that's the way to go with it. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so we're chugging away on it. I'm finishing the script while I'm on Summer Slaughter. Actually, I've been working on it now, and once I get on tour, you know, I write really good on the bus. I just get in that bunk and I can write. So I'm just gonna finish writing it on tour, and as soon as I get back in August, Christian and me and Nikhil, we just start the adaptation and start sketching out those panels.
Nice. Well, hell yeah.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes!